Gentlemen, let me ask you this. Has a woman ever said something so flattering it made you let your guard down, only for you to regret it later? Maybe she praised you for being strong or told you that you're the best she's ever had, and suddenly you found yourself solving her problems, covering her bills, or forgiving behavior you knew was wrong. That's not romance, that's strategy. The most dangerous manipulation doesn't come from harsh words. It comes from sweet ones, repeated at just the right time to bend you to her will. And once you fall for it, the price is high. Wasted years, lost money, broken trust. But here's the truth. You can spot it if you know what to look for. Today, I'll reveal the 5 sweet lies women use to control men, and the bonus red flag that proves if she's real or just using you. Science shows us this. The male brain is far more sensitive to positive reinforcement, while the female brain pays sharper attention to negative signals. What does that mean for you? It means when she drops a compliment, your guard lowers automatically. You feel validated, special, even chosen. And that's exactly why sweet talk is the perfect weapon to steer you where she wants you. Now, before we break down these 5 sweet lies, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a lesson that could save you years of pain. And I want you to answer this honestly in the comments. Have you ever fallen for sweet talk before? Just a simple yes or no. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how these words, the ones that feel so harmless, can completely shift the power in your relationship. Number 1, I love our conversations. On the surface, that sounds like the sweetest thing a woman could say. Every man wants to believe his presence, his words. His mind is so captivating that she just can't get enough. And yes, sometimes it's genuine. But when she keeps saying it while never making the effort to actually see you face to face, that's not connection. It's substitution. She's not choosing you. She's using you as a filler until something better shows up. Let me break it down. When a woman truly values your conversations, she will naturally want to match that emotional connection with a physical one. She'll make time. She'll want to sit across the table from you, to laugh together in real life, to deepen what you've already started. Words are the bridge, but action is what builds the road. If all you're getting is words and the bridge leads nowhere, you're not her man, you're her placeholder. Take David, a 52-year-old engineer who'd been divorced for a few years. He tried online dating, and he met a woman who was charming through texts. Every night she'd tell him, "I love our conversations. You're the only one who gets me." At first, David felt special. He believed he had finally found someone who appreciated his mind and his humor. But whenever he asked to meet for dinner, she had an excuse: late work, family crisis, or simply not feeling well. This happened again and again. After months of texting, he realized she never intended to meet. David wasn't her partner. He was her emotional crutch, the safe option she could lean on when she was bored or lonely, while she kept her real life open for someone else. Here's the hard truth. If a woman only engages with you on her terms, through her phone, at her convenience, you're not building intimacy, you're supplying attention. And attention is addictive. She's getting her fix of validation, while you confuse her availability to chat with genuine interest. That confusion is dangerous, because men are biologically wired to respond strongly to positive stimuli. When she sprinkles a sweet line like, "I love our conversations," your brain lights up. You mistake comfort for commitment. So how do you know if it's real? Watch what happens when you shift the frame. Invite her into your real life. Suggest coffee, a walk, a dinner. If she consistently avoids it, the message is clear. She loves the idea of having you on the hook, but she doesn't love the effort of showing up. A woman who truly values you won't just love the words you type. She'll want to feel your presence. Gentlemen, the solution is simple but not easy. Stop giving endless energy to women who refuse to meet you in reality. Don't be the emotional janitor who cleans up her boredom at midnight through text. Value your time. Value your presence. If she's not willing to match words with action, step back and invest in someone who will. And here's where it gets even trickier. Once she realizes words alone don't hold you, she might upgrade her game. That's when the compliments start pouring in and they're aimed straight at your ego. Number 2, you're so amazing, so strong, so generous. Let's be honest, what man doesn't love to hear this? When a woman tells you that you're handsome, powerful, successful, or generous, it hits the deepest part of your ego. Compliments feel like rocket fuel, especially for men. Your brain lights up with dopamine, and for a moment you feel invincible. But here's the catch. If she's only saying it to set you up for an ask, then it's not admiration, it's strategy. You see, flattery by itself isn't dangerous. We all need it, and in a healthy relationship, it flows naturally. But when every compliment is followed by a request, that's when you know you're not being celebrated, you're being softened up. It's like a salesman who tells you how smart you are right before sliding the contract across the table. She's not admiring you, she's conditioning you. Mark, a 47-year-old business owner, learned this the hard way. He started dating a woman who constantly told him, "You're so generous, you're the kindest man I've ever met." At first, Mark felt proud. Finally, someone saw his good heart, but soon, every compliment had a price tag. Right after praising his generosity, she'd mention her phone bill that needed paying. A week later, after calling him such a strong man, she hinted about her broken fence. By the 3rd month, it was her rent. The pattern was clear: compliments in, requests out. And Mark realized he wasn't in a romance, he was in a transaction. Here's what you need to notice: the timing. Real admiration stands on its own. Fake admiration comes with strings attached. If she tells you you're amazing and then soon after asks for money, favors, or problem solving, you're being played. And the requests don't always look financial. Sometimes it's endless rides, constant errands, or emotional labor she should be handling herself. The point isn't the size of the ask, it's the predictability of the pattern. Now here's the solution. When she gives you a compliment, don't let it cloud your judgment. Instead, pause and observe. Does the praise stand by itself, or does it open the door to a hidden agenda? One simple test: say thank you and leave it there. If she smiles and the moment stays light, that's genuine. If she pivots into "actually, could you help me with?" then you have your answer. Men, you need to understand this. A woman who truly values you compliments you because it brings her joy to uplift you, not because she wants to cash in on your pride. Real love fuels you. Manipulation drains you. And if you ignore this difference, you'll end up pouring your resources into someone who doesn't love you, just loves what you can provide. The truth is, your ego can be your biggest weakness. And once she learns how to play it, she'll keep pressing that button. But what happens when she hits the button that every man is most vulnerable to? The one tied directly to your masculinity in the bedroom. Number 3, you're the best lover I've ever had. Every man wants to hear this. It hits at the very core of male pride. The idea that you're not just good in bed, but the best she's ever had. It's intoxicating. For a man, being crowned the king of the bedroom feels like the ultimate validation of masculinity. But here's the harsh truth. Sometimes that line isn't about you at all. It's about control. When it's real, it shows up naturally. Maybe after a night where the chemistry was undeniable, she leans in and says, "You make me feel things no one else has." That's sincere, and you'll see it backed up by her actions. Affection, warmth, and consistent respect outside the bedroom. But when it's a tactic, it usually shows up right when she needs to distract you, pacify you, or cover something up. Imagine this. She's been distant for a few days. You sense something's off. Maybe you even confronted her about flirting online or hiding something. Instead of answering directly, she disarms you. She pulls you close, gives you that praise, and suddenly your doubts feel smaller. You think, why would she say that if she wasn't really into me? But that's the trap. The compliment isn't proof, it's camouflage. Here's why it works. Sexual validation is a hot button for men. Science shows male brains respond powerfully to positive reinforcement tied to performance. If she tells you you're the best she's ever had, it flips a switch. You feel chosen, irreplaceable, above the competition. And in that state, you're less likely to question, less likely to push back. She's not just flattering you, she's sedating your defenses. So how do you spot the difference? Look at what follows. A genuine compliment strengthens intimacy. It leads to more closeness, more mutual care. A manipulative compliment is usually followed by a request or an excuse. She might ask for forgiveness for something you caught her doing. She might expect you to overlook a red flag, or she might use it to distract you from the fact that her effort in the relationship is slipping everywhere else. Here's the solution. Don't let your pride blind you. When you hear "you're the best lover I've ever had," smile, appreciate it, but don't let it overwrite reality. Ask yourself, does her overall behavior match her words? Is she showing up outside the bedroom with the same respect, commitment, and consistency? If the answer is no, then that line isn't a compliment. It's currency. She's paying you in flattery to buy herself more freedom to act without accountability. Men, your strength lies in being able to separate your ego from your judgment. If you can enjoy the compliment without being controlled by it, you win. If not, you'll keep excusing behavior that chips away at your dignity. And here's the kicker. If she can manipulate you with intimacy, imagine what happens when she drops the 3 most powerful words in the English language. Not just, "You're amazing," not even, "You're the best," but, "I love you." Number 4, I love you. 3 little words that every man longs to hear. They can melt defenses, heal wounds, and make you feel like the center of her world. But here's the problem. Sometimes "I love you" isn't an expression of deep affection. It's a tactical move. When those words are used in the wrong context, at the wrong time, they stop being a gift and start being a tool. Let's get clear. In a healthy relationship, "I love you" flows naturally. It comes after a meaningful moment, a shared laugh, a sacrifice, or a quiet night where the bond feels undeniable. It's backed by consistency, care, respect, and actions that prove the love is real. That's when those words build intimacy. But in manipulation, the timing is everything. She might drop "I love you" right before asking for a big favor, money for bills, help with her problems, or even covering up a mistake. Or she might say it immediately after being caught in the wrong, hoping to distract you from your anger. In those moments, "I love you" becomes less about love and more about leverage. Take John, a 55-year-old man who had been in a long-term relationship. Over time, he noticed a strange pattern. Whenever he confronted his partner about hidden spending, like when she secretly took money from their joint account, her reaction was always the same. Tears in her eyes, she would whisper, "But I love you." At first, John softened. He thought, if she really loves me, maybe I'm overreacting. But eventually, he realized those words were never followed by changed behavior. They were just a shield to deflect accountability. The love was conditional. It only surfaced when she needed to neutralize his boundaries. Here's how you protect yourself. Pay attention to context, frequency, and aftermath. Does she say "I love you" in moments of genuine closeness, or only when she wants something? Does she repeat it like a broken record every time you resist, as if trying to overwrite your instincts? And most importantly, what happens after? Real love creates lasting warmth. Manipulative love vanishes the moment you give in until the next demand. Gentlemen, the solution is simple but firm. Don't measure love by words alone. Test it against actions. When she says, "I love you," observe what follows. Does she respect your boundaries, or does she push them? Does her behavior align with her declaration, or does she use the phrase as a reset button whenever she feels cornered? If it's the latter, then those words are not a confession. They're a currency traded for your compliance. It hurts to admit this, but it's better to face the truth now than to be drained slowly over years. Real love thrives in honesty and action. Fake love hides in timing and excuses. And if you think "I love you" can be manipulative, wait until you hear the 4 words designed to strike right at a man's protector instinct. You're my hero. Number 5. You're my hero. These 4 words can melt a man faster than anything else. Why? Because every man, deep down, wants to be seen as strong, reliable, the one she can count on. Being called hero taps into your protector instinct. It's flattering, it feels noble, it makes you believe you're indispensable. But here's the reality. Sometimes it's not admiration, it's bait. When it's sincere, "You're my hero" comes from gratitude. Maybe you helped her through a tough week, stood by her during a crisis, or simply showed up consistently. In those cases, the words are backed by appreciation. You see it in how she treats you afterward, with respect, reciprocity, and care. She admires you because she values who you are, not just what you can do. But when it's manipulation, the phrase always comes tied to a need. She calls you her hero right before asking for help with something she should be handling herself. Suddenly, being her hero means fixing her car, paying her bills, or bailing her out of a mess she created. Notice the pattern. The title of hero is dangled in front of you like a medal, but the cost of keeping it grows higher and higher. Here's the danger. Once you buy into the role, you'll start overgiving to protect the identity she created for you. You don't want to lose the admiration, so you keep proving yourself again and again. Meanwhile, she doesn't actually respect you. She's managing you. You're not her hero. You're her handyman, her financier, her safety net. So how do you tell the difference? Pay attention to how often the word shows up. Real gratitude isn't rehearsed. It's rare and genuine. Manipulation, on the other hand, is predictable. If "you're my hero" shows up every time she needs something, you're not being loved. You're being leveraged. Here's the solution. Don't let your need for validation trap you. If she calls you her hero, thank her, but don't rush into proving it. Step back and ask yourself, is this something she could and should be handling herself? Would she still call me her hero if I said no? That's the test. If the admiration disappears the moment you stop serving, it wasn't admiration at all. It was a mask. Men, remember this. You don't need a woman to crown you a hero. Your worth doesn't come from saving someone who refuses to save herself. A real partner won't need you to constantly prove your value through sacrifice. She'll admire you for who you are, not just for what you can provide. And here's where things reach the breaking point. Because while hero flatters your ego, the most dangerous phrase doesn't sound sweet at all. It's bitter, guilt-ridden, and usually comes right after you say no. And that brings us to the bonus red flag, the phrase that doesn't sound sweet at all. It's not part of the 5 sweet lies, but it's every bit as manipulative. It usually shows up at the very moment you finally push back, when you dare to say no. That's when you hear the classic guilt trip. You don't care about me. You don't love me. This one isn't designed to flatter you. It's designed to break you. The goal is to flip the script, to make you feel like the bad guy for simply protecting yourself. When a woman uses this line, she's not speaking from love or hurt. She's speaking from control. David, the 52-year-old engineer we met earlier, faced this exact trap. After months of being her texting companion, the woman he was seeing finally asked him to buy her a designer handbag. When David politely declined, explaining it wasn't his responsibility, her response was instant. If you loved me, you'd do it. You don't care about me at all. Suddenly, he wasn't a man with healthy boundaries. He was painted as selfish, cold, even cruel. And for a moment, David questioned himself. Was he being too harsh? Was he failing her? That self-doubt was exactly the reaction she wanted. Here's why this tactic works. Most men fear being seen as unloving. When she attacks that core part of your identity, you scramble to prove her wrong. You buy the gift, you cave on the boundary, you swallow your no. And the second you do, the cycle is locked in. Every time you resist, she'll reach for that same weapon. It's emotional blackmail, dressed up as a test of love. But love doesn't need constant proof. Love doesn't demand that you sacrifice your dignity to show you care. Real love respects limits. Fake love punishes them. So how do you deal with this? First, recognize it for what it is: manipulation. Don't get dragged into debating whether you care. You already know the truth. Second, respond with clarity instead of defense. Say something like, "My love isn't measured by gifts or favors. It's measured by respect." If you can't see that, then this isn't love. That response shuts down the guilt trip and shifts the responsibility back to her behavior. Men, hear me. You don't owe proof of your love every time you say no. A relationship where no is unacceptable is not a partnership. It's a hostage situation. If her affection only survives when you comply, it's not love at all. And here's the final twist. By now, you've seen how ordinary words, "I love our conversations," "You're amazing," "You're my hero," can be weaponized. It's never about the phrase itself. It's about the timing, the frequency, and the aftermath. That's the invisible pattern that decides whether you're being cherished or controlled. So let's bring this full circle. The 5 sweet lies we've uncovered. I love our conversations. You're so amazing. You're the best lover. I love you, and you're my hero. Plus, the one bitter red flag of "you don't care about me" or "you don't love me" are not evil in themselves. These words are beautiful when they're sincere. But when they're used in the wrong context at the wrong time, they stop being love and start being leverage. Too many men only realize this after years of being drained, years of paying bills that weren't theirs, years of forgiving behavior that never changed, years of carrying the weight of a relationship that was never truly mutual. Don't let that be your story. You don't have to wait until you've lost money, time, and self-respect to wake up. You can see the red flags now, and you can step out before the damage gets worse. Here's the truth. Real love doesn't come with a price tag. It doesn't demand proof through endless favors or transactions. Love that is genuine stands strong even when you say no. It's shown through respect, consistency.